Right. So, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to FASA's virtual networking event where we get to exchange information and widen our circles. I'm Romanise Resha, the host and the organizer of this event. Before we get started, we have a couple of announcements to make, starting with the franchise breakfasts. Thanks to FASA, the association will be hosting FASA breakfasts around the country, starting with White River on the 6th of July, and then heading over to Rustenburg on the 21st of July and Polokwane on the 31st of August. If you're interested in attending one of these breakfasts, please send us a message and we'll put you on the list. FASA's Golf Day takes place on the 22nd of October. If you're interested in playing some golf, book your 4-ball with Shireen. She will get you on the list. In October, we will be hosting the Franchise Road to Recovery Conference. Details will follow in the FASA newsletter, so watch out for details there. Feedback surveys functions as a voice on a particular product, service, or company or industry. And thanks to FASA for sponsoring the 2023 franchise survey to help the franchise community understand what has been experienced in the franchise sector, as well as the franchisor, franchisee, and people working in the franchise industry. There are plenty of opportunities for you to participate with in FASA and to get involved in, and what you put in is what you get out. Like FASA's virtual networking events, where we come together once a month to learn from one another, but more importantly, to get to know one another. Our next event happens on the 20th of July, inviting your suppliers, franchisees, and colleagues to come and join us. Our guest speaker today is Sheldon Tatchell, who is the CEO and founder of Legends Barber. I just want to say also congratulations to Sheldon for winning the top overall brand award from Standard Bank. Sheldon will be sharing with us today how to assess your compatibility with the franchisor's leadership style when choosing the right franchise for your business, for yourself. Before we get started, here is a short video so that the event can run smoothly.
FASA and its partners host regular events giving you the opportunity to establish yourself as a thought leader or an industry expert, which enhances your reputation and credibility within your professional community. Networking can potentially introduce you to your next customer, business partner, supplier, consultant, franchisor, or franchisee. Networking is the process of building relationships with people in your field, and it's an essential skill for anyone who wants to succeed in business. Use networking as a bridge to connect and to gain valuable information about the people and the franchise industry. Networking can also help you stay on top of someone's mind. 74% of consumers identify word of mouth as a key influencer in their purchasing decisions. Use networking events to raise brand awareness and then connect further on social media. Just a reminder that these sessions are recorded and may be published on FASA's website and shared on social media channels to feature FASA members and this event. These networking events are for sharing ideas, to connect, and to network. You are responsible for doing your own due diligence on information shared at these events and the people you meet here. Should you wish to share contact information with attendees, please share your details in the chat box. Every networking event is an opportunity for you to spread the word, so for best results, come prepared. When introducing yourself, make sure that your camera is turned on and make sure that you are in the center of the screen. Announce your name and surname, your company and location, and what you offer to customers. Then use the icebreaker questions to share something related to you or your business. After the speaker sessions, we will have questions and answers. Use this opportunity to ask your questions. We will also ask some of you to share your golden nuggets, in other words, what stood out for you in today's session. This is another opportunity for you to raise brand awareness, building the like, know, and trust factor. Word of mouth is still the most powerful way to market your business, so give people something to talk about. Before the breakout rooms, we will ask you to complete a short survey. We will post the link in the message box when we close the event with breakout rooms. It's now time to start with the introductions.
Right, so we're going to start the introductions. I'm just going to put the questions on the screen for you quickly, just so that you can see what the questions are for today. And what we're going to do today is just something a little bit different. We're going to ask everybody to use the dashboard where you see reactions to raise your hand. So if your hand is raised, we will call on you to introduce yourself. If it's not raised, we understand that you'd like to sit out on this occasion. So what you want to do is announce your name, your surname, where you're located, your company, what you offer. And then today's icebreaker questions are: what role does mentorship play in developing leadership skills? Have you had any influential mentors in your life? And how have they impacted your life or leadership journey? Also, or you can answer, what qualities do you believe are essential for an effective leader? Or what is the future of leadership and what will leadership look like in the future? So you can choose one of these to share with the audience today so that we can get to know each other better. So I'm just going to quickly start off, and I'm just going to say I'm Romany Thresher. I'm a digital consultant. I'm based in Cape Town. I mentor and coach people to use online more effectively using AI, social media marketing, and hosting virtual events for organizations. My objective is to help you raise brand visibility and to be seen where you need to be seen. For me, leadership of the future is that people will have to learn to work in hybrid situations. Leaders will have to adapt really quickly with a lot of disruptions and technologies coming out over the next few years. And then I believe today there is a real need to have leadership who operate with integrity and really want to change the status quo, because the old systems are falling away and now we're ready for new systems and new ways of doing things. So what I'd like to do is ask people to please raise your hands so that I can call on you to share with us and introduce yourself. Sorry, let me just hide this quickly and stop the share. So on the dashboard, under reactions, just raise your hand. Nice to see everybody here. Hi, Richard. Should we start with you, Richard?
How are you? Why don't we? I was trying to find the raise your hand button.
Okay. Well, before you get started, I'll
Yes.
just everybody notes to the far right next to apps, okay? I'm going to spotlight you and off you go.
Okie dokie. Thanks very much, Romany. Good morning, everybody. My name is Richard McIver. I'm the CEO of Cash Converters in Southern Africa. In fact, in Africa, I'm broadcasting to you from Johannesburg, as you can see it.
Oh, we lost your audio. Maybe unplugged.
Okay, hang on. Try that. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Good.
So I'm broadcasting to you from our offices in Midrand in Johannesburg, and as you can see, it's nice and cold here today. For those of you who don't know, Cash Converters is a global network of franchise stores offering pawnbroking, microlending, and the trading in second-hand fine jewelry and household goods. In terms of leadership, a question associated with that, I think one of the characteristics or requirements of a leader is effectively to make decisions. In other words, decide where to go, and effectively the decision around where do we want to be in the future is very much of a leadership decision that needs to be made. So that would be my first suggestion. And the second would be his next role or her next role is to group people around them to enable them to effectively achieve that objective of where we're wanting to go. So thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you, Richard. Right, I'm going to call on Nawazi. Hold on a moment. I just want to change the spotlight. There we go. There we go, Nawazi.
Morning, everyone. My name is Nolo Azingati. I am an associate at McRoberts Attorneys in Pretoria. So what we do, I'm in the franchise division. So we assist with franchise contracts, advice on franchise matters, and litigation if necessary. So in terms of the leadership question, I'm grateful to have had a lot of very influential leaders in my career. I think one of the most important things for a leader to do is to understand how their team works. In other words, someone's working style. So some people need to be sort of left alone, and some people need to be, like not micromanaged, but you know what I mean. So I think it's very important for a leader to understand how people work, because if people are working in the way that they like to work, then obviously they're going to be productive. So I find that to be really important. Yeah.
Nice one. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it is true. We need to learn and understand how people work, because there's a lot of different types of people on this planet that we're only learning now how they work. Thank you. So let's see, remove the spotlight, and we're going to hand over to who's got their hands raised up. I'm trying to see. James Liddell, I'm going to add you to the spotlight. There we go.
Good morning, everyone. Have you lost direction in your career, your relationships, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, nutritionally, or just everything? I'm Dr. James Liddell from Lifestyle Clinic and Philippolis Retreats. Our transformational retreat will redirect you to optimal living and will take place from the 20th to the 24th of September. Dr. James Liddell, for bookings, www.philippolisretreats.com. And the question on leadership, I think it's very important that a leader must be a team player. Thank you, Romani.
Nice one. Thank you. Right, let's hand over to Gavin Mainking. I'm just going to add you to the spotlight. There we go.
Hello, everyone. Yes, Gavin Mainking here. I'm a commercial litigation attorney. Like Mwazi, I practice, but I'm in Cape Town, senior Friedland attorneys. I've got a special interest in franchise law. As an attorney, I aim to solve the legal challenges that businesses often face. One of the challenges is the wasted cost of time associated with court litigation. So in an attempt to avoid this, I assist franchisors with the drafting of franchise agreements that are not only comprehensive, but more importantly, clear as far as the obligations of both the franchisee and the franchisor is concerned. Tying in with an icebreaker question, one of the qualities that I believe are essential for an effective leader is leading by example, showing a genuine interest in the team that you work with, getting to know them better, being there for them when they need you, and playing to their strengths. And yeah, I think that's quite important. Thanks for your time. Nice to meet all of you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too. Welcome. And let's hand over to Mornay Morris. Mornay.
Hi, everybody.
Hold on.
Sorry. Hi, everybody. Mornay Morris here. I'm currently in full-time employment, but I'm looking to get a little bit more understanding about franchises and how it works, and I'm interested in probably in the next couple of years to own my own franchise. So it's good for me to just hear from what's happening across the different franchise models that we've got in South Africa. In terms of leadership, I think one of the things that's quite important is for a leader to be able to be a good communicator. Communicator in terms of verbal, so being able to carry across their message, but then also be able to listen well as well, so that they are able to be able to understand what their team is trying to convey to them as well. So meaning not just, and again, when we talk about communications, as they say, 80% of communication is non-verbal. So it's not just talking about the verbal communications, but being able to pick up on those cues that the team might drop to them as well. So just my thoughts on the icebreaker question. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mornay, and welcome, and hope to see you back again, because these are great places where people like yourselves can learn a lot more from franchising and get to know people who function in this area. Ian, let's hand over to Ian. Hold on, spotlight. Hold on, Ian. I've got to just get you on the screen. Here we go.
You got me.
Yes.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Afraid to say yet another lawyer. I am with Fluxman's Attorneys in Johannesburg. I've been practicing in the field of franchise law for more years than I almost can remember. Pretty much in advisory, drafting of agreements, assisting with litigation when it's unfortunately unavoidable. the full suite of legal franchise legal services. On the question of leadership, I would endorse all of the above, and just add to that the concept of servant leadership, that the leader must be aware that he is there for the organization is not there for him, and his leadership techniques should be geared at benefiting the organization for the benefit of all who are in it and all stakeholders. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the session.
Thank you. Lerato Mashejo.
Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. My name is Lerato Mashejo, and I work for Cash Converters all the way in Midrand. Cash Converters is a global network franchise stores. We basically provide pawnbroking, micro-lending, and trading of secondhand goods and fine jewelry to our customers. I'm the digital media specialist for the network. And I think, yeah, everybody's touching on the leadership question. I'm going to touch on the mentorship one because I have a really great mentor who is just very influential in my journey, in my career. I think just based on their experience, they are like more inclined to give you valued advice because they have experienced it firsthand. And secondly, they kind of more have a bigger perspective of where you are and where your journey is going. So they'll give you kind of like really great, like objective advice on where you need to take, because obviously you were there, you kind of like the worker bee, and you know, so they're able to just give you a bigger perspective on how you need to approach your career and what decisions you need to make. And yeah, and I think mentors rather are very important in everyone's career journey. So yeah, thank you so much.
I agree with you. They indeed are, Lerato. And it's so nice to see a face to all the emails we communicate with.
Yes, finally.
Finally. There we go. Right. So I'm going to just call on Lutfia Waja. I'm just going to put you on the screen. Give me a moment. There we go.
Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to meet you all. My name is Lutfia Waja, and I'm from Thompson Wilkes Attorneys, and I practice as an associate here. We are based in Sandton, and I'm at our head office. I believe that a leader should be approachable, should have emotional intelligence. I think it's very important to be able to relate to people. A leader should be creative and be able to be a problem solver, and above all, to have integrity. And thank you for your time. It's lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And Sandy Fur. I'm just going to spotlight. Here we go. Over to you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks again for having me at this meeting. I really love attending because I get to meet lots of lawyers, but also just generally franchise partners, which is amazing. So my name's Sandy Fur. I'm from a company called Beauty Therapy Institute. We are a group of training colleges in the beauty arena. So we teach students beauty, hairdressing, etc. We have 14 colleges in South Africa and 6 in Africa. So we call ourselves proudly African, but predominantly uplifting and enabling individuals to become self-employable or employable and become employers eventually. The important conversation for me today is around mentorship. And I identified a mentor for myself in my mid-20s, and that person is still my mentor. She's in her early 70s, and she's still the person that I would call on to reach out to. She's an incredible source of information and support. She's the one that puts me on the straight and narrow and redirects me. And that's, I mean, over 30 years later. So I'm very, very pleased to say mentorship is a very valuable relationship to develop if you don't have somebody yet in your life. But thank you very much for today.
I agree with you. I cannot, yeah, mentorship is so valuable. It keeps you on track and it gives you guidance and you can bounce ideas and yeah, no, really, really valuable, I have to say. So let's hand over to Eugene Hoos. Just going to put you in the spotlight if I can see. Is it this one? Eugene?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the invitation to this esteemed business networking event. I'm grateful for the opportunity to introduce SFA to the session. My name is Eugene Gous, and I'm a key individual and director of SFA. We are new members of FASA and very excited about the journey ahead. At SFA, we specialize in financial services with a focus on employee group scheme business, i.e. medical aid and health insurance, provident and pension fund, funeral schemes, business and commercial insurance, public liability and professional liability. Once again, thank you for the warm welcome and eager to learn about the session today. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Prince. Prince Mohale, is it?
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Prince Mohale, 25 years of age. I currently service the entertainment space as a live event technician. So I help set up, build, and construct the stages that you guys see, whether it's at a conference, festival, and the likes. Just to share a question, an answer on the questions that were shared earlier on. I think clear communication, it makes a person to be an effective leader, because if you are able to have a vision and communicate it clearly to your colleagues, people you work with, and the rest of the team, then it essentially makes your job, I would like to think, a lot more easier, because then you continue to focus on the strategic plans that you may have for the business. I'm just a new person in the franchise industry. I'm just currently making my research, as I'm very keen in starting, actually buying into a franchise. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prince, and welcome. Nice to have you on board. Excellent.
Thank you.
Ralph. I see you had your camera on. Hold on. Let's put you in the pin. There we go.
Are we back in the mix? I know, Romany, you're giving me gears because I never have my camera on.
Good, I'm glad to see it's on today.
Perfect. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Nice to see such a big group here today for this networking session. My name is Ralph Strange. We are based in Bedford View. We own the company Sausage Saloon. We've been around since 1997. Historically, we have always been more of an impulse buy, and we're starting to gain traction as more of a destination purchase, which is fantastic for us. The icebreaker question regarding leadership, I liked what Ian said, and I like what everyone said, because no glove fits the same hand. So I think in our status quo, when it comes to leadership, it's all about understanding your employees and understanding where you can best utilize them to make sure that they feel that they're adding value. And yeah, I'm excited to be here today. I've been following Sheldon's career for a while now. It keeps me on my toes because he opens more stores than anyone I know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the session today.
Thank you. You got a stalker, Sheldon. All right. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves? I know Alex has still got his hand raised. Anyone else? Before we close the room, I thought Soraya, Sujana, did you want to introduce yourself? I thought I saw your hand up earlier. All right, Alex, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Another suit in the room. I'm Alex Protulis from Christodoulou and Mavriki's Attorneys. I'm a director here. We specialize in just corporate and commercial law, and I head up the franchise law department, advising both franchisors and franchisees, also helping them expand both nationally and internationally. I've heard what everyone has had to say about the leadership, and I fully agree with everything. But I think one thing that a good leader needs to have, which hasn't been mentioned, is accountability. And especially in our country today, we have leaders that don't take accountability, and regardless if it's good or bad, you need to put your hand up and say, yes, I messed up, and be able to move on from there. And I think that's one of a great quality of a good leader.
And I like that, Alex. Yes, we do definitely need more accountable leaders in this world today. All right, so then it's Samira Saeed. I'm just going to pin you quickly. There we go. Over to you.
Morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Samira Sayed. I'm from the Midas Franchise Group. We are an automotive aftermarket franchise store. I'm sure you've seen our orange stores around the country. One of the questions asked was, what are the values that we provide to our customers? So we provide ongoing marketing and business support, regionally as well, because we have key account managers based in the different regions across the country. We have 250 to 260 stores in RSA, and then we have 280 odd stores in the country. We are based in Gauteng. I'm in Lindbro Park. That's where our head office operates from. But like I said, we have regional branches as well that we have as a collective as a franchise that we provide support to. I want to touch on qualities that are essential for effective leaders. I think it's very important that a leader assimilates into the team, because that's how they're going to identify their team's strengths and weaknesses and know how to eventually lead on to mentor them to grow them. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome. So welcome to everybody who's new here today. And I turned things upside down, back to front. I started off with forgetting to send Sheldon the link, and then I forgot to ask Fred to open up the floor and Maria. So I'm going to hand over right now to Fred, and then Maria afterwards, or the other way around, whichever. So over to you. So to Fred, our CEO, who will just share a little bit, and to Maria.
Good morning, everyone. I come from a background where you respect protocol, and the chairperson is on this platform. So the chairperson will take the lead insofar as FASA is concerned in the session. The only thing I want to say about the kind of a leader, I think it depends on the section, because you'll remember that each business has divisions or sections: HR, finance, human resource, and so forth and so forth. So I think in every aspect of it, it's humaneness. Every leader has to be humane. And that is all what I can say. I will hand over to the chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you, Romani. My name's Maria D'Amico, and I'm the chairperson of FASA. I also happen to be an attorney, but that's by the by for now. Thank you to all of you for participating in these network meetings. They're very valuable. Every month there's a very good speaker who will impart their pearls of wisdom onto you. So thank you to Sheldon for your time and giving us your pearls of wisdom. In terms of mentorship, when I started my career a very long time ago, I don't think the word mentorship was in the dictionary, but thankfully times have changed. And for me, there are many qualities in a leader, but an aspect for me is for a leader to bring out the best person in you when they interact with you. So thank you. Thanks to everyone. Thank you, Romani, for always arranging this. And we look forward to listening to Sheldon later. Thanks.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Right. So now we're going to hand over. Let me just remove the pin here. And it's time to hand over to our guest speaker today, who is Sheldon Tatchell. As I mentioned earlier, Pro is the founder and CEO of Legends Barber. There we go. Are you there? There we go. Sheldon, over to you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Romani. And thank you for the team. Thank you very much for inviting me on this panel. I think I'm really fortunate to be one of the speakers here. And thanks a lot to our CEO, Fred, and our chairperson, Mari, as well. So yeah, I've been posed with this question: how do you assess the franchisor's leadership style before purchasing any franchise business? And being able to be in the franchise business for over 4 years now, I got to understand basically what's the thing that franchises like, and the type of franchises that you want to get into your business. So just a quick background of myself. I'm Sheldon. Started a barbershop on the stoep in the Alderado Park, only with a clipper and a chair, and this was back in 2011. And when I started out, barbershop wasn't the in thing back then, and basically this brought me to basically see the opportunity and see the gap in the market, and just see how can I capitalize on this, having that business mind on for basically as a youngster. I actually saw this as a gap, and started out cutting hair and basically being able to grow, and being able to start out alone. One of the most important things that you'll do as a leader is being able to hand over the baton to someone else and entrusting somebody else with your customer. And I think that is really one of the most difficult things, if you think about it, is basically being able to hand over to the next person and say, you know what, I actually serviced this customer the last time. How can you service this customer better? And being able to coach that person along the way. And kudos to everyone that joined, because I think that everything that you said is definitely in line with what leaders is. You understand? I think Alex spoke about accountability, being able to be accountable for each and every action that you take as a leader. And somebody also touched base on servant leadership as well. But can I jump into it? So how do you assess a franchisor's style of leadership? There is different styles, and for those who don't know, the different styles varies from being your bureaucratic style. We all know basically this was used back in the day, where basically leaders do things by the book and often unwilling to bend the rules, and often untested proposals. So you do things that is just straight to the point, and it's quite hard to be flexible during this time, because this is a style of leader that he is, and it can limit over time. I mean, like if that style is being used in your business today, your franchisees and your employees may become frustrated because they may become dissatisfied if you fail to move your business forward. You understand? And if you're always doing things by the book, and I know that there is a lot of lawyers here, and I always get shouted upon because sometimes you don't actually do things by the book. You actually just bend it a little bit. But I do think that the bureaucratic style of leadership is what people used to do back in the day, and I feel like especially moving towards a new generation of leadership, things have changed a lot. Things have definitely changed in a different way. Just touching base on another style of leadership, it's also autocratic. So so the autocratic style of leadership is another approach to business. So these are like your bosses. Your autocratic strategies can appear and display in dictatorship behaviors, commanding your franchisees, commanding your employees to follow rules while really asking for any input of your staff. And although the autocratic mode is necessary when you need to make quick decisions, workers sometimes feel overlooked irritable. And if you use this style in the long term, it does become a bit of an issue because the thing is, nobody actually wants to be bossed around from time to time. And so it does really become a problem. So what's next? I mean, there's also another type of leadership that I research, which is a democratic, leader. So the democratic leader basically takes their workers' opinion into account and they gather other people's perspective and most appropriate the course of action on way to follow. And along this, just to maintain an open dialogue with business. And this leads me to my favorite part of leadership, which I definitely think is servant leadership. Servant leadership is something that I vouch for as a person, and servant leadership has helped me in my business being able to model certain values, and the type of values that servant leaders possess is basically like you're empathetic. You are the person that's coaching. You are the person that's mentoring and helping your staff grow. So all of these type of values speak towards the servant leader. The servant leader doesn't say I, it speaks about we. It speaks about we, and sometimes us as leaders tend to forget who are the people that's actually working in our business. And the people that's working in our business is basically our staff members, is basically our franchisees, our managers at the stores that's putting in the work on a daily basis. So as a servant leadership, we all know that I come from a corporate background. So in corporate, we all know that this diagram where you have the pyramid where the CEO sits on top and basically you have the staff sitting at the bottom. So it's this type of pyramid, and everyone reports directly up to the CEO. So the CEO gets all information. The CEO gets so everyone is there to serve the CEO, and these bosses and this type of leaderships that I basically touched on early on, those are basically examples of that, you understand? Whereas a servant leader is a bit different. The servant leader is basically having that pyramid upside down. So you have the CEO sit at the bottom, and the CEO is actually there to serve the staff member upwards, you understand? So the CEO will come in and ask you questions like, how do I best serve you? How can I make your life easier? How can I ensure that you can perform at the best of your ability? And this is personally what people need in this day and age. People need to feel important. People need to feel that, you know what, this person is not here just to make money, but this person is actually empathetic and willing enough to give me an ear and to help me grow in this business. So I definitely feel like being in business for, I think it's over 12 years now, this has really helped us to produce high quality work, efficiency, and much more productivity, where you see employees get much more of a collaboration effort in this sense. And that's the reason why we followed the servant leadership philosophy, because it tends to breed stronger culture, which eventually just gives out higher employee morale and also engagement from the staff as well. So I often say that you know, servant leadership for me, if I should relate it to a sport, and I know there's a lot of sports people in here as well, that one of the things that I do think about is a sport like relay, you understand? So if you look at relay, relay is basically you have your baton, so you have your baton in your hand, and being able to hand over your baton to the next person, and while running next to that person, just for a certain time period, and being able to let go and having that person follow through and them doing the same thing to the next person. And that is servant leadership. Servant leadership for me is basically being able to mentor, to coach, to guide somebody, everything that you have learned, everything that you possess, and hand it over to the next person. So I do believe that our biggest struggle, especially in the country that we are in, that everything consists of this very principle, which is leadership that we're speaking about. And just looking at your decision to take on a new franchise or a franchise business, I would say that definitely look into businesses where you ask yourself the question, does this person's leadership style speak to the way I envision myself to be, the way I look upon this person, not only being on top, but also being at the bottom, being able to serve people, being able to serve each and every employee, being able to be there on the ground, and whether it's been sweeping the floors, is that person speaking towards me? Is that person willing to basically take on the role as a servant leader? So that's in closing. Leadership is definitely the answer for everything. And I do think that we do definitely need more servant leaders in our country and in this world that we live in. I definitely believe that once we figure that out, that we will definitely become one of a force to be reckoned with as franchisees as well on this platform. Thank you very much. That was me, Sheldon.
Thank you, Sheldon. I just want to open up the floor to some questions. If you've got any questions for Sheldon. Sheldon, I'm just going to quickly ask, how would one say, for example, in a when you're sitting now assessing your franchisor to buy into their business, what questions could you ask, or how would you assess in that moment what that leadership style would be?
So I think that's a very good question, Romani. I think one of the most important questions that you look to asking is basically, are you willing to be with me on the opening day of the time when I open my store? Are you willing to hold my hand during the first few weeks while I'm at the store? Are you the type of franchisor that will be there for me? Are you willing to avail time to speak to me, to coach me along what I can do because I don't know your business. As a potential franchisee, I don't know your business. But as a franchisor, you know your business in and out, and you're the person that started your business. How are you willing and best able to help me grow, especially during the teething phases of my business?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to add also to leadership, what I've learned in my own leadership styles or something is when I work with even clients, I have to assess whether I can work with a client based on if they're going to micromanage me, then I might not do so well because I don't do well in micromanaging. Whereas if you leave me to be freely creative, then I can produce what inspiration flows through me. So that's what I've learned, that if there's a client that I'm going to get that's going to micromanage, then it might not be a good fit and I'd be a disservice to that person. Do you know what I mean? It would just not work out well. So that would be my contribution. Anyone have any questions or something you'd like to share? Richard, anything you'd like to add to the conversation? Lorato? No, let's go.
Perhaps just one or two thoughts on culture and the like. Given that most franchises are a proven business model and they'll be successful, and you've got a recognized brand, and the like, the thing that the franchisee, I suggest, should make sure they're getting right here is that business model the correct thing for me in terms of what the day-to-day is going to be? Are you going to be cutting hair? Are you going to be licking stamps? Are you going to be building buildings? Whatever that might be. But probably more importantly is the culture of that organization. Am I going to fit into that culture? And I've heard it said that culture has a lot to do with how things get done around here. And I would suggest any franchisees or prospective franchisees, those two gents that introduced themselves earlier today, probably your biggest and most important question you're going to want to answer is the culture of the prospective franchisor the culture that I can live with? Is it something that my values align with? And the way that you go about doing that is going to meet the people. You've got to get to the guy who runs the place or the woman who runs the place, and spend time in that environment, getting a sense of what that culture is like and whether you can actually fit into that culture or not. Because at the end of the day, it's all about people, and buying into a franchise is a long-term decision, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. In fact, the first franchisee we have in our business is still with us 29 years later. And you just simply can't live together if culturally you don't fit. So that would probably be my number one guidance for somebody looking to get involved in a franchise. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Gosh, it must be cold where you are. You're all wrapped up there. Anything you'd like to add to that, Sheldon?
Yes. No, I'm definitely up for all culture. We all know that culture is a make and break of a business. Peter Drucker always, if you read his book about culture, and he says this quote, he says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And that's how important culture is in any organization. Your culture matters. And I do believe that, as Richard pointed out, straight on the money is if you are willing to identify a culture that you can be married to, a culture that speaks to you as a person, then that's definitely a good one to go for. If that culture doesn't speak to you as a person, you're going to have problems in the long term. So it's very important that you choose a culture that you feel in your heart that this is actually the right move to go to.
Thank you. Right, anyone have any questions or maybe a golden nugget? Nolwazi, Ralph?
I suppose my golden nugget would be the converse of my icebreaker question, in the sense that there are different leadership styles. So obviously, people who are being led need to also understand the leadership style, because it's collaborative. Everyone has to sort of benefit in some way. Otherwise, you're not going to work as a team. So I think leaders need to understand people's working style, and people need to understand leaders' working style. And I think that those two have to sort of mesh and go together in order for there to be any kind of success.
Thank you. Rolf?
I think my question to Sheldon is, I know the basis of this session today is for franchisees, how to select the right franchisor and get the trust factor and whatnot. But I want to try and switch this around, and I want to ask you, obviously you've got a lot of franchisees who want to open up business. What for you, have you said no to people, and why, firstly? Because I just know in my experience, I get a lot of franchisee requests, and historically, some of the franchisees that have applied and they tick all the boxes, I look at them and I just get this gut feeling, hey, these guys won't follow through with the product I'm trying to deliver to my customers. And then I can get some franchisees that, sheesh, I'm so chuffed. I think this could take over the whole business. And then they could turn out to be the worst. And it's hard to, and we've done analysis on franchisees. We spent a lot of money in 2017. We started adding that to our way of judging franchisees, and it didn't actually help, because the guys I thought were going to be a problem are phenomenal. They're still with the brand. The guys who I thought, hey, these guys are solid, they did more reputational damage than good.
Good question.
No, thank you for that, Ralph. I think such a good question, because it's quite tough to put your finger on it. You understand? How do you choose a good franchisee? And I think the only way that we have experienced this is by burning our fingers. Yeah, I mean, like, we burn our fingers a couple of times because we got people coming in with the right motives, with the right suggestions. And as time went on, we understood that these are not actually the right people that we want as part of our business. Understand? And eventually that has brought us to start saying no. You understand? Start being a very close-knit family and start seeing, so you know what, in order for this business to last for the next 10 to 20 years, what are decisions that are we going to make today? Are we going to say are we going to give a couple of no's in order for us to just have a successful 10 or 20 years? You understand? Because we're not playing for the short term. Anyone can go out here and start selling franchises left, right, and center, and we've seen it happen many other times where businesses fail because you tend to find that there's not the right fit for your business. And what we have done based on the experience that we had was that we narrowed it down specifically to the type of people that we want in our business. So we would be very specific as to the type of person that we want in our business. We are really one of those family-oriented businesses, and if we want the business to be run by a husband and a wife, you understand? So it has to come together and say, you know what, this is one of the criteria. In order for you to be part of this business, you have to come in as a married couple, you understand? Just one of the things just to look into. But these are the type of things, and also being able to spend time with these potential franchisees and sussing out what are their main objectives as to them opening a franchise, spending time with them, being able to not only spend time during the interview session, but having them taken maybe to a store and just looking at their reaction, looking at how they respond to things. Are they the ones that are willing to get a broom and start sweeping, or are they just the ones just to stand one side and be on their phone the whole time? So it just gives you an idea as to the type of person that you're dealing with, and then you can make your decisions from there.
100%. Thank you.
Maria, you wanted to add to the conversation?
I do. I have a question for Sheldon. Sheldon, who is your favorite barber? No, only kidding. You don't have to answer that.
That's a very tough question.
Yeah, especially from the franchisor. I think I've heard a lot of valuable input from everyone, and thank you for that. I think what's important from a prospective franchisee point of view is to conduct a proper due diligence. So lots of things have been brought up on culture, business, finance. You can't get it wrong because you spend a lot of money. Invariably, there's a financial institution that will be on your back. So my advice to a prospective franchisee is don't feel pressurized or rushed. Conduct a proper due diligence, ask questions, bring in experts, get in financial guys, look at the projections. Are these projections sustainable? Anyone who's heard me will have heard me say the same thing. I've beat the same drum. Bring in financials, look at the projections. Are these sustainable? So there's a whole lot of things that a prospective franchisee can do to minimize the risk. At the end of the day, there's always a risk. There's never a guarantee, but reduce the risk as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Prince, would you like to share your golden nugget, something you learned from today's session, or Monet Morris, would you like to share?
Can I abuse my time here and ask Sheldon another question? Sorry.
Go for it.
Obviously, back to today's burning question of leadership and motivating staff and mentorship. Sheldon, I want to ask you, what's your staff selection process? Because obviously the guys have to have a skill to come into your shop firstly. And I mean, they don't need to follow the 10,000 hour rule, but what is your process to getting the right staff that fit your team? Because obviously staff make or break your business.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot for that, Ralph. I think that's a very important question. And one of our main staff criteria is that is that you have to have the right attitude. We don't care. We don't care if you have matric or if you have the proper skills. We can teach you that. You have to have the right attitude, and once you have the right attitude, we can definitely be able to upskill you with the necessary skills to go out and basically serve customers. But I definitely think that having the right attitude can definitely take you far. It's not only from a personal point of view, from a long-term point of view, you can definitely excel very well if you have the right attitude and willingness to learn.
Thank you.
Call on Monet again. There we go, Prince. I'm going to put you on the screen.
Good day, Sheldon. Thank you for sharing that. Quite informative, I must say. Just a question I would like to ask is that from your building of the Legends Barber, what has been your style of leadership? And over the years, has it changed? And if so, why? And if not, why? Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Prince. So yeah, the style of leadership has just been consistent. As I spoke about servant leadership has been one of the main pillars of basically the business, and it shapes the type of culture that we create in our organization. It hasn't changed over the years because we continue to do basically what we intended to do. And that's basically to run a race of relay and handing over the baton to the next person. So for example, being able to start out as myself as a barber and moving over to a manager of my store, I am capable of handing over the barber responsibilities to basically the person in charge. And as I grow in the organization, that's what I do. You understand? So I feel like being one of those people that's on the forefront, it's always important to upskill, to coach, to mentor the next person that will be able to take over your position, because your position is just temporary, but what you're working towards is permanent. And being able to build this business successfully was those are the type of skills that we implemented along the way.
Thank you. Want to add?
Hi, thanks, sister. Just one question from my side, Sheldon. Just you know, we've had some conversation now about saying no to potential franchisees. But what if you had said yes to a franchisee and you're seeing that it is not, you know, the business is not moving in the right direction? What support or interaction do you provide with that franchisee to really help them to be successful in achieving the objectives for the business? Because if they are successful, you are successful, you know. So it's a one hand washes the other kind of thing situation. So I think the question is really about what sort of support, development, and oversight do you exercise for Legends barbershops? Yeah, that. Yeah.
No, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot for that question, Monet. So how we see it actually as a marriage, you understand? So we should joining forces with one another, and you're trying to help each other achieve certain goals. So we all know that in a marriage you have to come to a point where how can you assist each other best, you understand? Because we're not looking for the short term. The short term might be that the stores is not making the specific target that's set out, but then we come together and we say, okay, what are the things that we can look at? You understand? Can we look at the different approach in this business? Can we look at how can we support this particular franchising much more, not only from a operations point of view, but maybe from a marketing point of view, or maybe from different aspects of our business, and we just share more light on this business. I like what Ian Fay actually said of Sobe, and they actually have an ICU model, you understand? They actually call it an intensive care unit. And basically what they'll do, they'll call all forces in and basically being able to get it troops around that store and come up with ways and means of how we're going to make that store successful. And eventually, if it doesn't work, there has to be alternative ways in order for us to move forward. Understand, whether it's maybe just moving a different location, moving to another location, that could be the case, or it could even be something else. So there is definitely options, but like I said, it is a marriage, and it's something that you're looking to do for a long term.
Thank you. Right, I'm just going to remove this. I just wanted to ask Samira, would you like to share something? James Liddell?
Hi, Romany. Just had to unmute.
Okay, I'm just going to put you on the screen.
Thanks, Sheldon. Thanks, Richard, if you're still there, for all your guys' input. I think it's really cool getting that kind of information from people that have been on both sides of it, the franchisor and the franchisee. Something I've learned now, especially because I'm new to the franchising, not new, it's my anniversary next month with Midas. So with the franchise and being a younger person, I really, what stood out was the relay part that you keep talking about, and identifying that you've got to upskill the next person to do that. So you also spoke about the ICU thing. We also use that approach as well in our franchise. So it's nice to see it tie in together, and that's what it is about. We want our franchisees to stay longer, and we want to, which is very much the same culture here. It's very much a family, because it started in the 80s as Midas Group, and now we Motors Aftermarket Parts, and we're just Midas Franchise under that group. So I appreciate that a lot, and I love learning from the people that have come before us that continue that, but also find new ways to adapt and move the businesses forward. So yeah, the relay part stood out for me, Sheldon, and definitely I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samira.
James would like to share something.
Thank you, Romany. Sheldon, thank you for sharing. And I think you shared some valuable information. And I really like the servant leadership style. I think that's the way forward in business and also in government. And for all the FASA members, I can just say that it's important that you enjoy your FASA, the franchise, versus endure it. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, I think we've come now for the time to hand over to, hold on, I just want to remove the spotlights quickly. Remove all pinned videos. Okay, here we go. Okay.
That's
there we
the
go.
question
All right.
from me.
Sorry?
The question from me for Sheldon.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure.
Hi, Sheldon.
Hand was
Yes.
up, close, or hold on, I just want to get Sheldon. Okay, go for it.
Hi, Sheldon.
Hi, Fred.
Looking at the brand as a young brand, if I could put it that way, but growing fast, how do you handle conflict in your corporate stores? Because I think you have young people there with hot blood. So how do you handle conflict at work?
Yes, no, thank you very much for the question. I think it's a very good question because as you know, dealing with the youngsters today is quite tough. From 10 or even 5 years ago, that youngsters are a different breed these days. But yeah, our age groups in our stores are anything from, our average age group around maybe 23, 24, 25, they're around. So these guys are quite young, and they come from an environment where they want things immediately, you understand? And sometimes they don't get their way. But I think it's just being able to understand them, being able to work with them. One of the key things that we do is having staff engagements, you understand? So we find out what do these guys like, what what entertains them, and sometimes it's maybe just being able to take them out and have indoor soccer or some team building along the way. So just coming up with different ways and means of how we can ensure that their happiness is vital to us. So especially when it comes to conflict, conflict, I definitely believe can be managed in different ways. As you know, as a servant leadership, you don't. There's no right and wrong to say that way. You have to look at people's different point of views and also coming from different backgrounds as well. In order for you to overcome this type of conflict, you have to understand that this person may be right in his own way, but how do we come to a common ground to say that how best can we move forward from here? And I think those are the type of conversations that we have with these guys on a daily basis sometimes. Thank you very much for the question, Fred.
Thank you.
I need to unmute myself. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to close the meeting. I'm going to just hand over to Fred to close the meeting. So what's going to happen is before we close, I'm going to post a link in the chat box, which is to give us feedback on how we did today and how the session was today. If you would like to stay behind for the breakout rooms, you're more than welcome to. So those who are ready to leave can leave when Fred has closed the session today. And then we will open the floor for breakout rooms. So over to you, Fred.
Thank you, Many. I think I take this opportunity to appreciate everyone for attending the session, because the platform was created solely for you to interact, to network, to share information, to make connections. But I see on the chat box, I don't see everyone sharing their business cards or sharing their views. And I think that is the area that we could use. But since we are going to breakaway rooms, then maybe you'll have the opportunity to do that. But most importantly, as Romani said, we are undertaking a survey. We appreciate everyone to participate. Those who want to participate and haven't been contacted, you are more than welcome to contact us and indicate your willingness to participate. We will be issuing a newsletter in the coming week or by Friday, where you'll see where we want participants or our members to participate in the learnership program. Please peruse that and contact us if you are willing to participate. We are also hosting breakfast as usual at the beginning of this session. Please book your seats and also take part. All the events or activities that we are doing is for the benefit of members. So please take advantage of that. And we really, really appreciate your time. And we really, really appreciate your contribution in any manner whatsoever. I thank you. Now I think we'll go to the breakaway rooms. Those who want to continue to share, let's meet in the rooms and share more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Right, so the link is in the chat box for those who want to complete it. If you want to have your details shared in our after-event newsletter, you're more than welcome to. If you let us know in that link, we'll share it in our after-event newsletter. So those of you who would like to leave now, you can leave, and those who would like to stay afterwards for breakout rooms or for further chatting, you're more than welcome to do so. So let me just see, because sometimes what happens is people leave and then we add them to breakout rooms and then they're not there. So let me just see. All right, so we've got. Right, okay, let's see. I'm going to open 3 breakout rooms. Let's see.